Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we always see the end of the world, but what happens after the survival? That's exactly what we're digging into today with the gripping plot of Josh Malerman's novel, Mallorie.
So let's set the scene. They made it. They survived that insane river journey from Bird Box. But what happens next? This story picks up more than a decade later, and it really asks the question, what does survival actually look like when you're raising teenagers in a world that's been plunged into total darkness?
Okay, so Act 1 kicks off in what's supposed to be a safe haven, a fragile sanctuary. But, you know, even in a place like this, the conflict is just bubbling right under the surface.
So a lot has happened in the 17 years since the first book. After the river, they found a temporary home at a school for the blind. But that ended in chaos. For the last 10 years, though, they've had this shaky stability at a place called Camp Yawden. And Tom and Olympia, they're not kids anymore. They're teenagers, and that changes everything.
And this is where the real tension comes from. You've got these two totally different worldviews. Mallorie is all about the rules that kept them alive. Blindfold on, no exceptions. Don't get lazy, don't experiment. For her, the old world is just gone. But for the kids, they've grown up in this reality. They're asking, is this it? Just surviving? They want to build something new, to push the boundaries, and unimplied rules just aren't cutting it for them anymore.
All right, so this fragile little world they've built is about to get completely turned upside down. And it all starts with a knock on the door. So this guy shows up, a total stranger, right? Says he's doing a census. Mallorie, being Mallorie, is having none of it. She tells him to get lost. But he leaves something behind, a big stack of papers. And these aren't just any papers. They're full of rumors, theories, and lists from the outside world they've been cut off from for so long.
And this is the bombshell. Buried in those documents, Tom and Olivia find something incredible. A list of survivors. And on that list are two names, Sam and Mary Walsh, Mallory's parents. The kids read it out loud. Your parents' names are on the list, Mom. Their names are on the list of survivors. Your parents are alive. I mean, can you imagine? For 17 years, she thought they were dead.
So now we're into Act 2. This impossible hope, this tiny chance, forces Mallorie to do the one thing she's sworn she'd never do again. She decides to leave Camp Yawden and go out there on a journey, on a blind train.
And almost immediately, all that family tension just boils over. Tom is completely fed up. He just screams at her, "All we do is survive." He sees his mom's rules not as protection, but as a prison. He's not content with just hiding anymore. He wants to live.
Their path leads them to this thing that's basically a myth, the blind train. It's a moving sanctuary, this community of survivors traveling on old railroad tracks. It's incredibly dangerous for sure, but it's also this little sliver of hope. It's proof that people are out there, innovating, trying to rebuild.
So you'd think this journey might bring them together, right? Nope. This is where the family doesn't just crack, it completely shatters.
Here's what goes down. Tom has been secretly reading those census papers, and he's getting fascinated with these ideas of fighting back, of not just hiding. He confronts Mallorie, and it escalates into this huge argument. And in a moment of pure fear and rage, Mallorie does the unthinkable. She hits him. And that's it. That's the breaking point. Tom just flees, rips off his blindfold, and runs, determined to find his own way.
So, in the chaos of him running off, Mallorie chases after him. But the train lurches, and bam! She gets hit, knocked clean off the speeding train. She's thrown into the darkness, completely alone and violently separated from both of her kids.
All right, Act 3. This is where things get really, really intense. We head to a place called Indian River. And let me tell you, this town embodies the absolute worst, most desperate side of humanity.
So Mallorie eventually wakes up and reunites with Olympia. And this is where Olympia drops a secret she's been holding on to for years. It's a complete game changer. She's immune. She can actually look at the creatures and nothing happens. She doesn't go mad.
So the two of them follow Tom's trail to Indian River, and this place is a total hellscape. I'm talking bodies of volunteers just littered everywhere. These are people who died in these horrific experiments to try and view the creatures. It's just grim.
And there, in the middle of it all, is Tom. He's up on a stage right at the center of this public spectacle, being pushed on by the town leader, Athena Hans.
What's happening? He's facing a creature. He's being forced to test out his own invention, these glasses made from a two-way mirror, by looking directly at one of them. in front of everyone.
And he's okay. He looks, and his invention actually works. He can see the creature's shape through the lenses without going mad. The whole crowd just erupts.
Then, in all that chaos, Mallory hears a voice, a familiar voice, her father's. He says, "Mal, oh my God, Mallory. The census list was right. He's alive."
So that brings us to the end game, a world made new. The climax just completely flips the script, and suddenly there's this shocking new reality, full of reunions, resolutions, and a totally different kind of future.
So let's just recap this new status quo, because it's a lot. Tom's invention is a success. There's now a way to see. Olympia's immunity is out in the open. Mallory is reunited with her dad after 17 years. Oh, and one more thing. Gary, the villain from the first book, he's here. He's in Indian River.
So with her family's future finally looking secure, Mallory takes a moment to deal with her past. She grabs her dad's crossbow, hunts down Gary, and ends that threat for good. Talk about vengeance.
So here we are. The family is back together. They're armed with Tom's science and Olympia's miracle. A new world of sight is actually possible. But that's the real question the story leaves us with, isn't it? After all these years of living in darkness, can humanity even learn to see again?